President Tinubu signs 2024 new minimum wage bill into law as workers hope for better days ahead. Local refineries to buy crude oil with local currency, a directive of the Federal Executive Council to the NNPC. And INEC expresses worry over developments in some parts of the country ahead of the off-cycle governorship elections in Edo and Ondo states, just as political parties strategize, putting finishing touches to preparatory movements to the elections. These and more on Political Update today. I'm Fisayo Gunfui. Welcome. President Bola Tinubu has signed a new national minimum wage bill into law. Briefing State House correspondents after the signing, Senate President Godswill Akpabio commended the president, saying Nigerian workers and the national minimum wage amendment is for the whole nation. The federal governments, states and local governments, the private sector, and even individual employers.
I think this is a great day for the workers in the country. We are not only doubling the minimum wage, we have added something on top. Initially it was 30,000, now it is 70,000. Like I said, this is minimum, this is not maximum. Any employer that has a capacity can pay as much as you want. But no Nigerian worker will offer services and be paid anything less than 70,000 from today. That is the implication of this act. It applies all over the nation. And we're excited that this is happening at a time like this. Through President Bola Tinubu, the man who cares for the Nigerian workers. And you see what we are doing in the National Assembly. When he came, the entirety of the National Assembly moved and passed the bill in one day out of excitement. We thought that this was not something we could delay. So I think the workers are happy. So I want to use this opportunity to call on those who are attempting to foment trouble. That you have a right to protest. It's your fundamental right. This is there in the Constitution, but you don't have a right to destabilize the country. The right to protest should not be turned into a right to unleash violence.
This is just one more action from the president to show that he cares about the Nigerian. In addition to signing the Northeast Development Commission Act, the Northwest Development Commission Act, the Southeast Development Commission Act, these are very important in Nigeria. So I think this movement from 30 to 70, reducing the negotiation here, is clear demonstration of a commitment to redirect the focus and position Nigeria for progress.
The Federal Executive Council has directed the NNPC Limited to trade crude oil within local refineries and use local currency, and approved the implementation of the new national minimum wage. The council also approved 887 dialysis consumables in 7 federal hospitals for renal diseases.
The 9th edition of the Federal Executive Council meeting in 2024, presided over by President Bola Tinubu, briefing State House correspondents, special advisor to the President on revenue generation, on issues of local refineries and use of local currency on crude oil trade, says the decision is to remove hurdles in the processing and adding value to Nigerian market.
Effective immediately that NNPC get engaged with local refineries, and we are starting that with Dangote Refinery, that the sales of crude oil to Dangote Refinery be denominated in Naira, and also the sales of refined products from Dangote Refinery to marketer and distributors also should be conducted in Naira. The pressure on foreign exchange rates today will be reduced. Today, you may be aware that we spend roughly 30 to 40% of our foreign exchange today on importation of PMS that we consume. And in monetary term, monthly, we spend roughly $660 million in this exercise.
Today, it's come, all the processes have been concluded, and it has become a law that has to be obeyed in Nigeria. And what it simply means is that it's law and it's law. So this is the national minimum wage that the president have signed. We are happy that National Assembly fast-tracked it. This is, I think, one of the fastest bill that has been worked on.
Now to politics proper. Just 53 days to the September 21st Edo State governorship election, and the campaigns are in full swing, but INEC is not comfortable with the early warning signs on electoral violence. INEC therefore engaged leaders of various political parties on how to ensure the election will be hitch-free. INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, particularly made reference to a situation where one life has already been lost, and he considered it a frightening signal. The INEC boss also re-emphasized these issues in that meeting.
Campaign by political parties and candidates is in full swing in both Edo and Ondo states. This is the time for party leaders to demonstrate compliance with the Commission's regulations and guidelines for political parties 2022. The Commission finds the recent event in Edo State, resulting in the death of a security personnel, worrisome. Happily, there has been no incident known to the Commission since then. Nevertheless, the Commission will meet with the security agencies. I want to assure you that security in Edo and Ondo will be a major issue for discussion.
The success of this election, along with Ondo, will go a long way in restoring trust in the democratic process, essential for enduring representative government. IPAC called for the amendment of the Constitution and the Electoral Act to empower INEC to conduct all local government polls. Council rejects the proposed bill by the Senate to create the so-called Local Government Independent Electoral Commission, bearing in mind that it will be another SIEC in disguise.
All right, joining us in the studio to discuss some of the issues raised in some of the reports, especially the one we just watched, is Edo State APGA governorship candidate and two-time local government chairman of Mwode local government area of Edo State, Honorable Isaiah Osifu. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Are you satisfied with the electionary activities in the build-up to the election in your state? Have the political elites in your state been able to engage the electorate on the need for peaceful, free and fair elections? Let's start from that, those two questions.
Well, it depends upon the leadership of the political party. We in AGA believe that election should be peaceful. It's not about war. It's about cultivating the understanding of the people. And part of the electionary is called the art of political education, to teach the people on the art of civic responsibility that ought to be done in a very civil and peaceful manner. So the leadership of political parties should know that election is a process of determining the nature of the democratic system of a particular state or a country. So if you're talking about democracy, process leading to democracy must be peaceful and must be integrated to the extent that all stakeholders realize that a major assignment that should be conducted peacefully. So the call should be directed to these parties that are showing signs of desperation, about dominating leadership in the state, as the case may be. So the incident that happened that the INEC chairman was referring to, the actors have been trading blames, between and among themselves. So many political parties were not involved or they were not mentioned. So I pray that the INEC and the security agency should live up to their responsibility by creating this enabling peaceful environment for the electorates to exercise their franchise to elect the governor of their choice. Because at the end of the day, the governor of Edo State is not going to be chosen by a political party. It's going to be elected by the people of Edo State. So the people deserve their respect, they deserve the security, they deserve the peaceful environment to enable them to go out there and let the governor of their choice. So this act of desperation should be a negative index to measure those that should be shown in the election, because if a party is desperate or a candidate is desperate, that's already a warning sign that such persons should be avoided. So electorate should be vigilant to look at the character and conduct of candidates and their leadership. If a candidate is desperate and promoting or encouraging violence, or the leadership of parties, so that's enough reason why the electorate should avoid such a candidate or such a party, because people are not going to be killed or people are not going to be intimidated or humiliated because we are going through the process of electing a governor. It should be a civilized system with a mutual respect between the political parties, the candidates, and the electorate that are the final, that have the final say as to who will be the governor of the state.
All right, let's go to issues now. Have you been able to engage the people, talking about, candidates in terms of issues, policies, as against rhetorics, crossfire and all that we have seen in the past, in terms of this one? Are you seeing rhetorics coming from the podium and interaction with would-be voters on issues of policy and where you want the direction of states to go?
Well, in Abuja, we have a clear case summarized manifesto that is anchored on 6 pillars. And that is what we'll be talking and teaching the people to understand that for you to have a good governance, you need a foundation. The pillars of democracy have to be well entrenched and visible to the electorate to see. In a democracy, there should be rule of law. We are conscious about that. In a democracy, there should be the independence of the judiciary. We are conscious about that. In a democracy, there should be the independence of the parliament. We are conscious of that. In a democracy, there should be accountability and transparency. We are conscious of that. And very recently, the autonomy of local government in Nigeria has been a major point for Abuja, because for the fact that I'm coming from a local government background, and
we'll soon get to that. We'll soon get to that.
Okay.
There's a particular place for that for you, especially.
Okay.
Knowing your background. But
okay.
Let's speak to all the other issues before we come to local government autonomy.
Okay. So, like I said, Abuja is committed to entrenching the pillars of democracy, because all the promises you're going to make in terms of what you want to do for the electorates of the state will just be a mirage if you don't have that strong, solid foundation of democracy, which has been lacking in our state. So I'm saying that Abuja is situating our campaigns on the fact that the people must understand that for you to implement programs on infrastructure, on education, on health, on civil service, on students and all that, you must have a foundation of democracy. And that's why I'm saying that for you to have a democracy, what are the indices of measuring these pillars of democracy? You don't even need finance to achieve them. For instance, the rule of law, like I've said, the autonomy of the judiciary. The judiciary is still autonomous. Judges to go to the executive arm to beg for money to buy barrels and pens. That's not democracy. The independence of the parliament. You know that the dynamics of political administration, has shown to us that in many areas, the parliament is still trying to survive. Hold ahead.
If we take it a little bit to some years ago, there was a particular state assembly that about 15 or 14 were not sworn in throughout their tenure. It seems as if that habitual, disregard for the rule of law. How do you want to ensure that we don't have such situations again? Apart from yourself and your own commitment, if we have actors who already believe in such scenarios.
There's a synergy, among the free arms of government. If you're going to have true democracy, synergy in terms of political education, political culture, to appreciating this dynamics of democracy. First and foremost, the executive arm of government should not have any control over the House of Assembly. So when you have a situation whereby 14 members were not sworn in, that's clear abuse of the Constitution. And of course, a disregard for the principle and ethics of democracy. It is not the duty of the executive arm of government to determine who should be this or that in the House of Assembly. You are taking away the right of the parliament, you are taking away the right of the people. Because the parliament is the organ of government that is put in place to act as check on the executive on behalf of the electorate. That is why the parliament in political legalism has some kind of superiority. For instance, it's only the parliament that can remove a governor or check the state of government. The people can't do it. That's why you have a parliament that is going to be acting on their behalf. For you not to have a House of Assembly that is being determined by the interest of an executive arm of government or by governor, it's a clear aberration for the fact that he violates the Constitution and he violates the ethics of democracy. So how do you not have a governor operating without having the full complement of the House? That is a clear violation of the Constitution. And once you violate the Constitution, then that government is no longer a democratic government. So we in Abuja, we will support and be humble enough to know that the House of Assembly is a partner in good governance for the state. So if you have a democracy, the House of Assembly must be allowed to function in line with the Constitution of the party and getting them to achieve or to acquire that independence that they so desire. Because the Constitution in any part did not say that the parliament should be subordinated to the governor. Or to the
I think it's a nice place to hold it for the moment. We'll take We'll continue our discussion just after some of these reports. But let's take issues also from other parties. Our Accord Party has elected Maxwell Ngbedum as its national chairman. This was at the party's national convention held in Abuja.
Assure you, my party members will not fail me. We will do all within our capacity to make sure that we can change, not only to our party, but to the nation at large.
Empowering the youths to become self-reliant and productive are the most effective ways of redirecting their thoughts towards positive achievement. National Chairman of the African Democratic Congress, Ralph Nwosu, stated this during the inauguration of the Abia State Global Campus and Youth Development Center in Umuahia, the state capital. The national chairman of the party was also in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom state capital, for the inauguration of a new office complex.
Marks the beginning of another political journey for the National Working Committee and members of the African Democratic Congress, whose dream is to take over the government at the local, state and federal levels come next elections. This edifice would not only serve as a party secretariat, but it's also a skills development center, leadership center, as well as a platform for nation building.
We want to hand over the party to the people. Unlike the other parties that are being run from Abuja, we are moving around. The significance of our ideology, philosophy, everything is embedded in this handshake, food of love. And when we shake, we can think together. When we think together, we start a process of nation building and transformation.
It is a new beginning for our party in Akwa Ibom State, looking back into history. Our great party, ADC, which is today the only credible alternative to the two parties that have ruled Nigeria since 1999.
Beyond the office, a new executive is also inaugurated to pilot the affairs of the state, with the leader of ADC in Akwa Ibom State, Dr. Godwin Umontwen, now serving as member of the Board of Trustees.
This is the party that every one of us wants to belong to. And with a handshake, sir, we assure you that we will take over Akwa Ibom.
Meanwhile, a stalwart of the African Democratic Congress and Chairman House of Representatives Committee on Customs and Excise, Leke Abejide, has disowned his political party's call for anti-government protests while drumming support for the transformation policies of the Tinubu administration. He says security is paramount for national development and advises against any protest that could breach national security.
We must firmly oppose such action at this crucial juncture in our nation's journey. I don't know the gain we are going to get from it. You will see, even the little you have, God forbid, if they go out for protests, it's going to lead to chaos. The enactment of Student Loan Act 2024 reflects a commitment to broadening access to education for all Nigerians. The introduction of the Consumer Credit Scheme allows Nigerians to access goods and services upfront and pay over time, facilitating crucial purchases for families. You see, some of these policies, when it starts yielding fruit, you will see the results.
All right, we still have the governorship candidate of Abga in Edo State, Honorable C4, right here in the studio with us. Last week, I beg your pardon, about 2.5 weeks ago, we had a discussion on the local government autonomy, and you were saying that this is not new. You had been in front of, one of the main vanguards when it came to, the contest to make sure that this was done through legal means as far back as the late 90s. So tell us a bit about how you feel concerning this and, that this has come to fruition and your thoughts on local government autonomy in terms of delivering good governance to the people at the grassroots.
Yeah, like I said last time, we tried to discuss about it. I want to, again, personally, on my behalf and all my other colleagues in Argon, to commend the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for supporting through the Ministry of Justice to test again the Constitution of Nigeria in respect of the autonomy of local government. we believe in Argon then that looking at Section 7 of the Constitution and Section 162 of the Constitution, which some people try to misinterpret, is that the local government has been recognized as a tier of government by the provision of the fact that the Constitution said all chairman, vice chairman, and councillors should be elected, democratically elected local government council guarantee under the 1999 Constitution. And we moved to Section 162 that deals with revenue generation and sharing formula. The local government was mentioned as a participant in the sharing of the federation allocation account. So I didn't know where the question was coming from. Maybe the Section 162, subsection 5, that talked about state local government joint account. That was just an abuse, because it didn't say that the account is meant for the state government. They simply said that account is meant for all the local governments in that particular state. Instead of now sending the money to each local government, you put it in that account, and then the state government is expected to pay 10% of the internally generated revenue of the state into that account, and they do a distribution. You are not doing a redistribution, because it has been distributed at the Federation Allocation Account Committee of what is going to each council. The only one you can redistribute at the state level is the 10% internally generated revenue which the state is paying into that account. So from that Section 162.5, a lot of abuses were now set into the implementation. So now they now have a full autonomy, which simply says they take away the postmaster and just take the money directly to the owner. So to me, the judgment was well welcome. We tried it in the year 2000 or 2001, up to the state Supreme Court. You know, at that time, they thought otherwise and gave judgment in favor of the governors. But now, where the law allows the Supreme Court to revise itself, so they've done that by revising their earlier decision to say, no, the local government, there's no crime, there's no aspect of the constitution you are evaluating. If you give me my money directly, instead of giving it to a postmaster to give to me. So it is the intention of the lawmaker that the Supreme Court judgment has interpreted. The intention of the lawmaker is that give to each local government what belongs to them. It is not for the governors, it is not for the House of Assembly, it is for the local government. So I commend the President, I commend the Minister of Justice, and I commend the judiciary for rising up to the occasion of protecting the grassroots administration, because the people are really resident at the grassroots level. Until we have a robust, well-funded, autonomous, and well-equipped local government, you're going to have problems with national development. So I commend it, and it is part of my program that I was trying to mention that in my pillars of democracy, I stress so well that for you to have a developed state, you need a developed local government area. And to you to have a developed local government area, the local government council must be encouraged to be autonomous, must be encouraged to be proactive, to be demonstrate their intelligence.
All right, that takes me to this question. We have a push and pull at this moment, citizens agitating and talking about ending bad governance and all that. A lot of people have placed some of the mismanagement at the doorsteps of the lower rungs of government or the other tiers of government, but because we've seen some concepts of, trying to at least share palliatives, send some relief to, local councils, to states and all that. And people are still saying they have not seen, evidences of this. How do you now bring this to bear? Yes, you are getting some autonomy. And in terms of ensuring good governance at that level, how can we do that? Very quick.
Well, it's still to follow the constitution of the country. If the local government gets the fund and the states now contribute at 10%, the local government should be able to do effective distribution. But the truth of the matter is that what is going to local government is insufficient in terms of the responsibility at that level. And this protest, against bad governance, I think that let's not mistake to be thinking that it's against the president or against the a political party. It is against all arms of government and all tiers of government. So in all arms of government, you have all the political parties. And in all tiers of government, you have all the political parties. So until people don't function in line with their mandate in terms of the constitutional provision, then you're going to have these agitations that are coming. Even though the emphasis is more at the federal level and the people taking it just a protest against the president. No, that is politicization of the protest. It is not against the president. It is against governance of country, which includes the local, the state, and the federal. Now, for instance, people talking about federalism. We shout so much about federalism. Why are we not operational in terms of really having that essence of federalism in our very state? I just listened to your news now. I'm talking about selling crude oil on a naira-denominated arrangement. Why can't oil producers have a refinery? The 13% derivation that you pay to them, why not convert it to crude and let them refine their product? Why can't oil producers still have a refinery? Now, if you think the federal is having issues in terms of effective administration, a subnational entity can mitigate the maladministration that may be coming from the center. So if the subnationals are playing their role in terms of re-federalism, it is not going to ask for federalism. just to have a gain. Federalism means you must equally take a responsibility to act as if you are a federal government, taking all issues of agriculture, of security, of employment, of education, of health. If these subnationals are taking these issues, what you are going to have at the national level will be minimal. But it is on this note too, I want to quickly call on the federal government that a time has come that the revenue allocation formula has to be revisited so that more funds can go to states and local government. Because in all ideal political system in the world, what federal government is taking now is just, small in terms of responsibility. The responsibility actually should be to the state. So it is not for the state government to begin to sit down and begin to cast blame on the federal government. If you are practicing federalism, you equally have a right to mitigate whatever should be the maladministration that is coming from the center. That is where Abia stands for. That is what we stand for. That we're going to prove everybody wrong. That to say a state can be effective, a state can be functional, irrespective of the shortcoming that is coming from the center. If you have agriculture is not going to be done in Abuja, agriculture is in the local government. If you say food shortage, that blame should not go to federal government. This blame of food shortage should go to the state and local government. Because you produce food at the local government level, you produce food at the state level. The federal government can only do policy, a policy program in terms of research and all those developments.
Honorable Isaiah Sifu, you have just touched on agriculture. I will definitely try to bring you back on the network service of Nigerian Television Authority. Many thanks for today. It's been a very good, discussion. And when you end it on an agricultural note, we must harvest these ideas at another opportunity and give you opportunities to, of course, share your thoughts. That has been the governorship candidate of Abga, Edo State governorship elections coming in September. Wish you the best. I will bring others as well on this platform. My name is Visa Ogunfi. Thanking you for watching and hoping that you continue to be with the Nigerian Television Authority, Africa's finest and largest, for news, reviews, previews, and interviews. We'll be back again later in the week. We hope you play your politics for the greater good. Bye-bye now.